Hello, everyone, and welcome to not Wednesday, but Tuesday night's EET Periscope. I am live on Tuesday. I cannot broadcast tomorrow, and I'm just too excited to share all about the EET that I can't wait any longer. I am here to give you my quick tips and tricks on how to use the EET, how you can get it for your speech room, and what follow-up activities you can use to work with students of all ages, not just primary, not just younger elementary, working on basic vocabulary, but all students of all ages. Share it out. Show me some hearts if you are excited to use the EET, because I am excited to share it with you. Thank you for the hearts. I am excited to share it. Thank you. And as you can see, I have two links here. One is for my Pinterest EET board that you can see quickly any ideas that I share or find on the internet. Some fun ideas I will be sharing in that Pinterest board. And then the second link is my blog post that's going to be all about things that I discussed tonight. And the video from this Periscope will also be on that Pinterest board. In that blog post, and I'm also going to be sharing links to previous blog posts that I have discussed the EET with, because I've been talking about the EET for 4 years now, and I just love it so much, and I keep coming up with new ideas. So I'm going to turn around so I'm not showing this boring screen anymore. Hello, welcome to a Tuesday night, not a Wednesday night, but a Tuesday night quick tips and EET fun Periscope. I am here. My name is Hallie Sherman. I am from speechtimefun. I am an elementary speech language pathologist in a school in New York. And I don't know about you, but I have a big caseload. I have a lot of paperwork to do. I have a lot of reports to write. And sometimes I just need a quick idea and way that I can use across all students, all groups, make everything mesh together so I'm not fumbling through closets and paperwork to just go from in between each session. Sometimes I have like 30 seconds in between the two sessions. So sometimes it's kind of nice to have some sort of activity that you can use and blend with all the students and all the different ages and levels. And the EET is just one of those. So what is the EET? The EET is this multi-sensory approach to working on expressive language. It is exactly what it's called. It's the expanding expression tool created by Sara L. Smith. I did not create it. I wish I did. I did not. It is awesome. And the best part about it is each bead represents another piece of way to describe. So the green is categories. Obviously, speech language pathologists, we work on categories a lot. So that's something that you can use to work on when you're telling your students to describe common vocabulary to begin with. These are all the different things that you want them to say. So green, group, which is category. Blue, do. What do you do with it? Or what does it do? The eyeball is what does it look like? And you will train your students to talk about the size, the shape, the color. That's something that they need to learn. This one, it looks like a little piece of wood, is what is it made out of? And that could be very tricky. Love the ET, I love it too. That could be very tricky for students to understand what is it made out of. They all want to say, I don't even know, wood for everything, and it's not. Pink, parts, that's also another very difficult thing for our students to do, is part-whole relationships. White, where, I don't know about you, but my students always say, the store. And I'm like, no, I know you get a pencil at Staples, but what do you do with it afterwards? So I'm going to just go with, today, all different ways I work on all those different things all the different troubles I come with each of these beads. And the orange question mark, it's, what else can you tell me about it? When I work on the orange question mark, I always teach my students, pretend I'm an alien. I've never seen a pencil before. What do I need to know? And then they say, oh, you have to do this. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. I've never seen a pencil before. And I always say that orange question mark, think of an alien. I'm an alien. What else do I need to know that you didn't tell me from all these other things? And after a lot of, teaching them how to do it, eventually I get out of them that, you need to sharpen a pencil or you need to use it with your hand to hold it. So that's something that they didn't say with all these other beads about a pencil. And I always start with a pencil because it's just something easy that they use every single day. It's around them. It has obvious parts and things to describe. So I always start with a pencil. That's just me. Okay, so this is the EET. Now the kit. I'm going to flip my camera around so you can, great, thank you. I'm going to flip my camera around so I can show you what comes with the kit. Hold on a moment. Okay, so when you get this fun box, you open it up and it has a manual. And then you have your EET. You have some pictures, basic pictures, vocabulary to work with. It comes with these fun stickers that I'm going to describe some ways that you can use them. And it comes with these 2 dice that has all the different beads on it. And it also comes with a poster that you can lean. And don't mind the coffee stain on the back of my poster. Now, what other things that I think you can get, that I recommend getting if you get the kit? I recommend getting the student strands. Obviously, the bigger ones cost more money. I have always had at least 5 students in my group, so I got 5 of these student strands. Another thing I recommend is the steppers. You can do so many different interactive activities if you have steppers. If you do push-in activities, they're like so soft. They're great. There's so many things you can do. So those are the things I recommend if you get any of the add-ons. So that was the kit that it comes with. So how did I get it? I did not pay for it. My district did not pay for it. I got it through Donors Choose. Highly recommend looking into that as an option if your district will not buy into this product. It is costly, but it's so beneficial, and it's such a great tool for speech pathologists to have. So I recommend it. Now, how did I do it? If you're not familiar with Donors Choose, you need to come up with a project and explain why your students need it. But when you have a certain amount of points, and you can only use their stores for up to like 6 points. But if you have 6 points, you can use any vendor. So what I did is I had small little projects like I need this one Lakeshore Learning game. And then another project was I need this one book off of Amazon. And I did small little projects that were maybe $100 each. And after a year, I got all 6 projects purchased and funded, and I had enough points to get a project that was not through the Donors Choose vendors. And it was called a special project. So I did that. I came up with a really good explanation that was flashy, and I got it funded. So that is my recommendation if you are not able to get it funded. I did not want to use my entire budget for an entire year on the EET, even though I would love to. I needed some other materials in my therapy room. So that is how I got it. So I highly recommend it. If you have any questions about that and coming up with a description or what are some smaller projects you can do, feel free to email me at speechtimefun.com, at gmail.com. I have no problem helping you out with that. With that said, let's talk about some fun ways we can use it. So, the beads. And before you get anywhere with it, I recommend teaching each bead separately. Go through what are categories. Make sure each bead is mastered before you go on to the next one. How do you do that? Well, in the handy dandy manual, there are worksheets and activities to do each bead. And how do I organize it so I can quickly find it? I use Post-its and then the fun stickers. I label each one so I can easily find it where which bead is the which worksheets, because there's no tabs, it's just a regular book, and who has time to go through a table of contents? So I do it ahead of time and have it ready to go. So if I want some worksheets on green group, I have it ready to go right there. So yes, it's worksheets. I don't blame you. I have a link on my blog. I have a product in my TBC store that helps work on all the different beads if you want some more interactive activities. But I will say, these are great. I highly recommend it. I will show you on my blog, I have some pictures of my students doing some of the worksheets in here. And it's a great follow-up. It's great for homework. It's great for just showing parents what you're doing and how you're doing it. So I highly recommend using the worksheets in here. Highly recommend it. It's a great way. It breaks it down, and you can really see where the students are struggling. Is it they don't know their shapes? Do they not know composition of things? They don't understand what plastic is, or what wood is, or what glass is. And you might need to go for like a walk around the school to show them the different materials, and like they can really touch it and understand it. And really, it helps by going through each bead separately. It really helps you understand where your students are and what they need. Okay, so now they know all the different beads individually. What can you do with this skill now that you have it? I spend usually the first month or so of school going through each bead, making sure everyone understands everything, so that this way, when we're in full swing of curriculum, like obviously the first month of school, the teachers are also doing a lot of review. So once they're back into the curriculum, you now have the EET mastered, and your students can just pull it off the shelf. They're like, oh, vocabulary word, I'm going to have to do this. She said the fancy word describe, and you take it out. So, a lot of people call it the wormy, etchy. There's different fancy names for it, whatever you like to call it. I just call that EET thing sometimes. Just grab it. That's what I do. So, how do you pull it all together? Well, there are lesson plans in here and worksheets how to pull it all together. There's graphic organizers in here to how to pull it all together. And obviously I said there's pictures, so you can practice putting it all together. But okay, they understand tier 1 vocabulary words: bird, hot dog, pencil. Now what? So what I like to do is I pull in the tier 3 vocabulary words, the content vocabulary that the students are learning in their classroom. Are they learning about plants and animal cells? Are they learning about landforms? Are they learning about different famous people? I know a lot of my students right now are writing, we're doing a president's project. Whatever they're doing, they can describe using the EET. Teach them, find nonfiction texts using the vocabulary that they are discussing. I posted on my blog a whole bunch of websites like News ELA, readworks.org, K-12 Reader. There's a whole bunch of, even Ed Helper, if your school has a subscription to it. Find nonfiction texts at any level. I know Enchanted Learning has some simple books on nonfiction things, like seasonal concepts. And they can now then use this. You can use it with the seasonal activities. Again, they describe a shamrock. A shamrock is a plant. What do you do with it? You look at it, smell it. What does it look like? It's green. So you can bring in the seasonal. You can bring in the content vocabulary that the students are learning. I use the steppers to make little obstacle courses. And if I'm doing a push-in activity, we can do whatever content vocabulary. If they're doing a review for a science test, we can do a little stations. And when you land on this, you have to tell me something for that vocabulary word. And they have to hop around the room, or they have to fill in like a chart when they land on this steppy thing. So that's something that you can do. I like to use library pockets. Take these, put these around your room. Put the stickers on the library pockets. And, have the students, give the students the answers, and they have to sort it into the correct pocket. If you're doing a mountain, whatever it is, have them sort it. Put these around the room. Put these on a dry erase board with a magnet on the back, or even if they have the stickies already. Or put them on a therapy table, wherever, and have them sort out the answers, or they have to pick out the answers, and they have to come up with the vocabulary word that's based on what they're learning in class. Always bring in that tier 3 vocabulary word, the content vocabulary words, because that's something that they need to carry over in their class, and this way it seems relevant. And feel free to use the dice. Have a review session. Have the students come down with their class notes and be like, I'm going to quiz you. You're going to have to throw the dice, and we're going to quiz each other. So there's so many things you can do if you have the resources of the kid. Highly recommend it. Yes, there's so many ideas on Pinterest and this and that, but the kid has so many things that you can do and make your life so much easier. And I don't have time to make some fancy crafts. I don't have time for it. So this is so much easier having it at my fingertips. What else do I like to do? I make little prompts for them to bring back to their classroom. I don't know about you, but I don't have the time or money to get the student strands for every single student in my caseload so that they can bring it back to their class. I also wish I could. I can't be a little birdie on their shoulder in the classroom. So sometimes, like, I let them make little bracelets or bookmarks, and I have them use the colors. And this way they can bring it back to their class, bring it home. It's a fun activity that they like to do. They can just sort out through my big, massive bin of beads and just find it. Keeps them entertained, work on social skills at the same time, and even problem solving on how to get the beads to stay still. There you go. So that's something I like to do, just something to carry it over. And I have these puzzle pieces. You can put the stickers on the puzzle pieces and then have the students write the answers on the back and have them if you have these fancy ones, I got these I think from the dollar store, you can make your own puzzle games and students can make their own puzzle game to review for their vocabulary words for their class. What else do I like to do? Oh, if you have any storybook, like even I have Elmer. Am I showing it? It's upside down. Elmer. Elmer's about an elephant. We can describe Elmer, the main character, using the EET. Who is he? He's an elephant. What did he do? What happened to him? And you can have them describe using the EET. Just a character, an animal from a story. This way they can summarize, they can describe, they can then tell someone else about the book they just read. I have other just books on hand ready to go if I need content. Here I have the first big book of Why, and it has all these different fun facts, and students can just read it, and sometimes they have to infer, like in this text it won't say all the different beads, but sometimes they have to think a little bit, like, oh, it didn't say this, but I guess. And I posted on Instagram today, I don't know if you saw it, emoji high five if you did. I posted about a nonfiction text that I did with polar bears. And in the text, it did not say the polar bears were made from cells. My students had to infer, we had to discuss, yes, there are bones and there's blood and guts and gores and all that stuff. But back in September or October, they learned about plant and animal cells. So I had to wheel them back in on information they learned earlier on in the year. And we were able to come up on the dry erase table, all the answers. And then we practiced, I've given them the scripts to express it to each other, and they'll rate each other. We've recorded on an iPad so they can hear each other's answers and rate each other. Like, I'll even use a checklist on a dry erase little board, and they have to check off each other and did they say the category? Did they say the blue do? And they can rate each other. This way, I hate when one student's answering and the other ones are just sitting and twiddling their thumbs. That's when you get the behaviors. So if each of them are rating each other or prompting each other, like, I'm gonna hold this while you talk, and they can each do it for each other, and this way everyone's busy at the same time. So those are just a whole bunch of ideas and activities. I think I said a lot. I hope that's convinced you that you can do EET with your basic vocabulary, working on pencil, hamburger, elephant, all the way up to some nonfiction text, doing curriculum vocabulary. You can do compare and contrast. You can the beads just make it a multi-sensory tool. This way, I find some of my students that they can prompt themselves. I like to teach my students to prompt themselves. They don't have to think. I don't have to verbally give them any cues, and it helps them be more successful. A lot of times when I use a visual aid on a dry erase board, that helps. Them touching it just seems to help them a little bit better. That's why I've been using a lot of writing on dry erase on the table. This way they can touch my actual words on the table. And that's what the beads is just for. It moves easily, and I just find it's really helpful. Oh, okay, the name program is donorschoose.org. I highly recommend it. It's a website that you can post a project and you can have people fund it. There's a link where you can share it out to your own Facebook page, and this way you can get family members if you wanted to donate. A lot of times big corporations like Capital One and Starbucks, I know those have funded me a lot of times. And even sometimes just people from the community that I work in has commented oh, I want to help the students in blah, blah, blah community. So it's a great website to get any materials you need. Obviously, the more cost of the project, it might take a little longer and you might need to use more points. It's all about a point system, but I highly recommend using Donors Choose if your district does not fund for a kit yourself. If you are fortunate enough to get a kit and a training, that is awesome, but I was not trained. I just did a lot of Googling on people that have shared ideas, and I read the manual and just trial and error, and I love it. I highly recommend it. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at speechtimefun@gmail.com. I posted everything on my blog at speechtimefun.com. Feel free to comment, let me know. Feel free to comment and ask me if you want any future Periscope ideas. I have no problem showing you anything that I'm using in my speech room that makes your life easier so that you can use things with a whole bunch of different groups, less planning, less stress. I know about you. I have a lot of reports to write right now. So I hope you had fun learning about the EET, and I will see you next week. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.